Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
There is something that President Trump and Democrats can agree on when it comes to the longest partial government shutdown in U.S. history, but likely not something that will help put an end to the stalemate. I'm Mark Liverman, and I'll have more on day 34 of the government gridlock.
And local law enforcement is pushing free gun locks. Coming up, find out why officers say it's a good safety measure and not really a gun rights issue.
6:30 on this Thursday. Chellyman, Missy O'Malley, Matt Elwell with you here. Matt, we talked about it all day yesterday. We were going to get some snow. We did. The reality is, though, underneath that snow out on a lot of our highways is nothing but glass ice, so a driving concern.
Yeah, take it easy. A lot of the area roadways have been cleared, and like you said, clearing out, and you can see the ice plainly in front of you. The problem is a lot of people not really slowing down in time, so keep that in mind. Snow and ice on area roadways, Homestake Pass, Bozeman Pass, Gallatin Canyon, likely in your neighborhood as well. Temperatures holding into the teens and 20s for most of us this morning. We do have a little light snow still falling, even some patchy fog in parts of the area. It looks like we're going to be dealing with slick roadways to start your morning. We'll, of course, talk more about our next snow chance, likely to come tomorrow. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. As he just mentioned, a lot of snow has fallen this week.
Yeah, and all that new snow increasing the avalanche danger. Big temperature changes earlier this month have caused a weak layer of snow formed below the snow we've picked up earlier in the week. Strong winds also causing weak snow slabs on the slopes. Doug Chabot with Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center says that it's not the amount of snow that's causing problems, it's the water content in the snow.
And we're more interested in how much water fell, like how dense is that snow. And like you said, the snow is coming in very dense, and so when we add wind to that, it means that we're putting a lot of weight on slopes at higher elevations, and that weight is what's causing these weak layers to break.
Best advice from Mr. Chabot, stay away from steep slopes this week.
Good tips there, absolutely. And of course, as we've mentioned, the partial government shutdown is in its 34th day. President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi are now on the same page, at least with one thing related to the shutdown.
Yeah, however, it's not something that will help put an end to the stalemate. CBS's Mark Liverman explains.
Both sides agree there will be no State of the Union address until the longest government shutdown in history comes to an end.
Because government is closed.
Yesterday afternoon, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi revoked the president's invitation to address Congress next week.
She doesn't want the American public to hear what's going on, and she's afraid of the truth.
The president eventually yielded to the speaker. In a pair of late-night tweets, he wrote, "This is her prerogative. I look forward to giving a great State of the Union address in the near future."
A deal is on the table.
Today, the Senate will hold 2 votes to reopen the government, but both appear doomed to fail. The Republican measure includes $5.7 billion for a border wall. The Democratic proposal opens the government through February 8th, but without the president's wall money.
No more food banks, they need paychecks.
Furloughed federal workers cascaded on Capitol Hill in protest. They're going to miss a second paycheck tomorrow.
It's frustrating, it's angering.
Colette Hall is the wife of an air traffic controller in Las Vegas.
I have quite a few things I'd like to say to the government, to the president, and to anyone listening on either side. This has absolutely got to end because you're causing a lot of suffering.
She's not alone. A CBS News poll finds 6 in 10 Americans say the government shutdown is causing serious problems for the country. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
By the way, a CBS News poll also found 7 in 10 Americans do not believe funding a border wall is worth a government shutdown.
And a citizens group made up of mostly homeowners in Bozeman's Gallatin Range foothills is filing a lawsuit to stop the Limestone Hills timber cut. The logging operation was approved by the State Land Board on Tuesday. The group Save Our Gallatin Front says the corridor is the last piece of roadless land connecting the Gallatin Valley with the high country of the Gallatin Range. The group says it tried to win a conservation license to protect the tract, but the Department of Natural Resources and Conservation is requiring the group to pay the same amount as timber company would pay to buy those trees. Now, the group says this is unfair because the state would retain the right to sell the trees again in 25 years. The group claims that allows the state would double dip and collect the full value of the trees twice. There is no response yet from the state to that lawsuit.
That's a story we are going to continue to cover here on Montana this morning.
Certainly.
Going to shift gears right now, 6:35. The Centers for Disease Control and the National Center for Injury and Prevention and Control recently identified the top 5 states with the highest overall gun death rates. Montana comes in second.
MTN's Emma Hamilton has more on the issue of gun safety.
Montana has a household gun ownership rate of 67.5. Accidental deaths caused by guns happen across the country and here in the Treasure State every year. Ensuring your firearm is secure has the potential to save a life.
And this isn't about impacting anybody's or infringing on anybody's right to possess or bear arms. It is about being a responsible firearm owner and a responsible user of firearms and making sure that we're not leaving them unsecured in an area where a person can access them that shouldn't.
The gun death rate per 1,000 people is 23.23 here in Montana. Locking up a firearm is something you can do for free.
Gun locks are one small way that can have a huge impact. And so, you know, an unsecured firearm in a home is a risk, and it's something that, so here's something that can be done, just like clicking your seatbelt going down the highway, that we can make sure that we're keeping our homes as safe as they can be.
In Bozeman, Emma Hamilton, MTN News.
Now, Emma tells us free gun locks are available at the health department as well as the police and the fire departments.
This is a good one for you, 6:36. Following up on a story we brought you about the UPS driver who rescued a dog from an icy pond in Bozeman. Well, that driver has now been recognized by the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA.
That's incredible. Ryan Arons is being honored by the animal rights group, saying, quote, PETA hopes Arons' actions will inspire everyone to come to the aid of animals in need, especially during the dangerous winter months. Arons will receive a framed certificate and a letter of congratulations and a box of vegan cookies.
And our undying thank you from Montana this morning
That's
as
incredible.
well. Risking himself for that dog.
And just how serendipitous the whole story was. Just incredible. And of course, if you haven't seen that story, check it out on our websites. For
sure.
Stay with us in a moment. Iconic CNN reporter Jeannie Bose takes a look at the Democrats throwing their names into the presidential race. But first, we need to figure out how to pronounce some of their names.
This one I can't pronounce. It's Nora O'Donnell, and she's going to tell us about what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, President Trump postpones the State of the Union until the government shutdown ends. We'll look at the drastic steps some federal workers are forced to take as they prepare to miss a second paycheck. Plus, only here on CBS This Morning, why one attorney general blames the family who founded a pharmaceutical company for helping create the opioid crisis. See you at 7.